Are you ready to find your voice, fulfill your purpose, build unstoppable confidence? And are you ready to learn how to trust, accept, and love yourself enough to do the work to create what you want in life? Oh, and do you want to learn how to do it without burning yourself out, sacrificing what matters most, or compromising on your values? Then you're in the right place. I'm your host, Crystal Stanton, a certified coach, human design enthusiast, entrepreneur, and podcast host on a mission to guide women into their true, authentic success, to help them recognize their power and to step out from the shadows and into the woman they were always meant to be. Around here, we don't do grey, unaligned versions of our life. We don't settle for what we should be happy with. Around here, we do big, bold, courageous, fulfilled, rich lives, and we do it in an aligned, nourished, and truly authentic way. If that sounds like the life you want, then stick around and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode. Alrighty, we're gonna dive straight in today. Welcome to another episode. We're inside our Human Design 101 series. Today we're moving on to authority. So if you haven't listened to the other episodes yet, really encourage you to go back, have a listen through, and then come back to this one because it's really important that you understand more about what Human Design is, you know what your type and your strategy is, and then you can layer on this decision-making tool that we have within our design called our authority. If you don't have your Human Design chart already, the link to my website is down in the show notes so you can get a free chart generated for you, and it's going to give you a description of all of the key points of your chart, and then you can come back and listen to the episode for a bit deeper understanding. And then if you want to go even further after listening to these episodes, I have a bunch of other ways that I can help you deepen your understanding of human design and use it to create a life that is truly authentic and aligned to who you are and the life that you truly deserve and desire. So let's dive into authority. So authority is your internal guidance system. Okay, it's this incredible system that has been created within our energetic blueprint that helps us make decisions without ever having to second guess ourselves or doubt ourselves, without having to go up here into our brain, into our logical mind. It's this whole internal guidance system that we have that is unique to us and our blueprint. So I'm going to share the different types of authority. Now, these are not type specific. Your authority comes from your definition, okay, the different centers that you have defined. It's not important that you know or understand all of that to be able to start using and practicing and experimenting with your authority, but just know that that's where it comes from. So we're going to start off, we're going to do them in order of definition. Again, don't get too bogged down in that, but that's how we're going to go through them. So we're going to start off with emotional authority. So if you have emotional authority, like I do, you are here to ride the wave. Your decision-making process is about slowing down. There is no truth in the now for someone who has emotional authority. You are not here to make decisions quickly. Okay? Let that sink in. Because that was such a big thing for me to understand and decondition for myself, because I grew up in a world of being decisive was regarded. Okay, being able to make decisions and be decisive and take action quickly was sought after, was the good thing to be, right? It was what was promoted. And then I found out that I have an emotional authority and I'm not meant to make decisions that way. I'm meant to give myself time and sleep on it and wait for clarity to arrive in my body. So that took some work for me. So people with emotional authority, you're not designed to make decisions in the heat of the moment. You have this emotional wave that you experience, okay? And your clarity comes with time. So when you need to make a big decision, And yes, you have your strategy as the starting point, okay? You have your strategy. So, for example, if you are a generator or a manager and you're going to respond to something, right? Something's an opportunity or a question or something's going to pop up for you to respond to. And you're going to get that sacral or okay? You're going to get that. But then you have to, and if you are a manifestor, you're going to have this creative urge come through, or if you are a projector, you're going to receive an invitation, okay? And then you have to wait, okay? Because there's no truth for you in the moment if you have an emotional authority. The key for you is to allow yourself to feel the highs and the lows, because you've got this whole emotional wave. You're going to go through the whole experience of like all the highs of, yes, I'm so excited, to, oh my God, no, I don't want to do that, and all the in-betweens before you make a decision. So you really need to sleep on it. You really need to trust that clarity will emerge when the wave settles, because what you're going for is, you don't want to make a decision when it's like a yes or no, like a really high or really low emotion. You're really waiting for something neutral, okay? A really neutral feeling about the decision. When you come to your yes or your no and you feel really neutral about it, that's how you know you've achieved clarity, okay? So emotional authority comes from the solar plexus, which is an awareness center. So it has this extra level of knowingness. So what it's actually taking its time to do is not only tell you, yes, you should, or no, you shouldn't do something. It's also waiting for the timing. It's also giving you feedback on whether the timing is right. So if we can wait for that emotional wave, okay, and it's about feeling clear enough. You're never going to be 100% clear. But when we do that, we can wait for that clarity, that emotional clarity, that neutral response to our decision. That's when we can create really massive quantum leaps, because we're tuning into the timing. So yes, it might be something that lights you up, but it's not the right timing. And if you just go with that initial like, yes, you're gonna find that it doesn't go the way that you planned. And that has been my experience for the last 2 years in building my business. It's been like, oh my God, I'm so lit up by that, I'm gonna do it straight away without giving myself any time to think about it, or like saying yes to coaching containers or, personal development or anything like that. I'm like, yes, I'm going all in. Because it lights me up, but it might not have been the right timing. Okay, and then reflecting, I'm like, yeah, that wasn't the right timing for that, or that, or that. All important things, all lit me up, not the right timing. And as soon as I started to step back and go, okay, righto, universe, I'm here to respond. So this is what I'd like to do. Send me some stuff to respond to. And then as those things come in for me to respond to, I'm like, okay, I'm getting a yes, but I'm going to sleep on it and see how I feel. And if that continues to be the answer, and as I go through the emotional wave and I settle on the really neutral, yep, I want to do that, then I move forward. Okay? So it's a much slower process. Once your solar plexus, your emotional authority gives you the green light, things can happen very quickly, but you have to be willing to wait for the clarity to show up. Okay? So this is a big handbrake for those of us that have grown up in hustle culture. Right? Slow it right up. Okay. Sacral authority. Now, when I first started my human design experiment, I was so jealous of people with sacral authorities. I'm like, oh my God, why can't I have that? Why can't I just have sacral authority and not have to wait? Right? Can you tell I needed to learn patience? So, sacral authority is the gut response. It's just pure gut response. So if you have a sacral authority, it's all about listening to the body's immediate response to life. It's that gut level yes or no. It's that right? You're going, your body will tell you. And even if you're saying yes, sometimes your face will be telling you that it's actually a no, okay? So it's really tuning into the body, tuning into that gut level yes or no feeling that arises when something is presented to you. It's in the moment, instant. You don't then have to go wait for the cycle. It's just like, that's a yes, that's a no. Which can be really hard, right? That can be really hard to trust that, because then your ego, your logical thinking brain is like, oh no, but hang on, you have to think about your decision, right? So it's kind of the opposite to the emotional response. It's like doing the opposite thing, right? It's like, no, you have to think about your decision. What about this? And what if, and what if, and what if, and what if, okay? As soon as you start putting words to it, words beyond yes or no, right? And you're having a conversation about it, you're out of your authority and you're back into your mind, okay? So Trust your sacral sounds, like your oh yeah, okay. Sacral is really noisy. Okay, people with the sacral authority, sacral beings, are really noisy. Let those noises guide your decisions in the moment. It's a pure sacral response. More often it's going to be a sound than a word. Okay, you make lots of noises. It's the non-language of the body. Okay, sacral beings are like, they'll eat something like, I make a lot of noises. Okay, I have an emotional authority, but I'm still a manifesting generator, so I still have that sacral response, right? It's funny. Once you learn, it's like, oh, that's why I've been making all those noises all my life. All right. So, splenic authority. This is very brief introduction to all of these authorities. If you want to go deeper, then I really recommend you get a report done, or book in for a one-on-one session with me, or come and join the Fearless Collective where we go into this in more detail. But here in the podcast, it's just a brief sort of summary and overview, and then a little suggestion or tool of how you can get started. So splenic authority. Splenic authority is that instant intuition. Okay, it's that instant intuition. If you have splenic authority, decisions are made in the moment through a really quiet, instinctual knowing. Okay? Intuition. Intuition is your superpower, and so it can be hard for you to trust that, because intuition is something in the modern world that is sort of like discredited, even though it's our most powerful tool. Everyone has intuition. Everyone can tap into it, but if you have a splenic authority, it's actually how you are designed to make decisions. Your intuition is the be all and end all. Whatever your intuition says goes. Okay? Like that, it's that subtle inner voice or feeling that speaks once and doesn't repeat itself. It's the voice that says, don't get on the plane. And you trust it no matter what. Okay? Right? It's like your spidey sense. Spidey sense tingles, you listen. Okay. So trusting this authority, it requires you to tune in and act on your intuition immediately, because it only happens once. Okay? You'll get the ping. Some of the people I've spoken to, some of my clients talk about, oh yeah, I got a ping, right? And once you get the ping, you move, right? Even if it doesn't make logical sense to you, because your intuition knows more than you do, especially if you have this authority. Okay? Trust your intuition is like your go-to phrase for this authority. Okay, next authority, ego authority. So this is about speaking or acting from the heart. Now, another name that this is known is heart authority, which I actually like better, because people tend to have like all these negative connotations around ego, right? Someone who's egocentric or has a big ego, or check your ego, or ego is bad, right? So ego it's actually about your heart. Okay, it's about your heart authority. It's rooted in desire and willpower. And for you, decisions come from asking yourself questions. Do I truly want this? Does this align with my personal goals? And it's really about honoring what your heart and energy are committed to unapologetically. For you really want to speak things out, and you want to speak them out in I want, I have language, which, it can be potentially sound very focused on yourself and on the material plane. But you need to talk this way, and you need to hear yourself speak. You need to be able to hear your wants and desires. And it's the wants and the desires that your resourceful ego has to say, because that's how you know what's true and correct for you. You need to filter everything through what it means to you in this material world. So because it's very self-centered language, your wants and your desires and what you want to have, other people may perceive it as you constantly talking about yourself. Okay, but it's how you judge where you're at, and there is nothing wrong with it. So what you need is to make sure you have people around you who understand that and aren't going to judge you for it, aren't going to judge you for that sort of language, and aren't going to judge you for being focused on yourself and what you want to create. Okay, so you need people who are safe spaces for you to do that. As you speak it out, you're going to get greater awareness of what's correct for you. You're going to hear it in the way you're talking about it. You need a good sounding board. You need someone who's a really good listener. You need someone who can listen to what you say and repeat it back to you. Like, repeat back what you say, not what they think you said or what they think you should have said or what what you actually said. Just repeat it back. And they need to be like fully neutral, really listening, because then they might be able to highlight any nuances. So did the tone of your voice change when you spoke about a decision? Did it sound like you didn't want to do something or you did want to do something? So you need people around you who understand how this authority works so they can help you by being a really great sounding board. Because all of these three, so that authority and the next two, all need sounding boards, all need this ability to speak it out loud, okay? To get it out of here and out here so you can hear it. So if you have a self-projected authority, you are literally following your voice. You are self-projecting, right? It comes from speaking your thoughts out loud. And your truth emerges when you hear your own voice. So you must have a sounding board. You must be surrounded with trusted people who can listen without judgment. And that's going to help you connect with what feels aligned for you. Okay, so if you have a decision, you're going to talk about it and talk it out loud. I'm like, what it would feel like, what it would look like, how would you feel doing it, what would take place, how would it happen, okay? And through hearing yourself talk about it, you're going to hear whether it's something that you want to do or not, okay? And you need people who can listen to that neutrally and repeat back to you what you said, okay? Okay, now our mental or environmental authorities. For you, finding the right space is really important. You are very mental people. Your mind is constantly going. This is an authority for reflectors and some projectors, okay? It involves processing decisions by talking through your thoughts in the right environment, okay? You really have to surround yourself with places and people that feel good, because clarity for you comes through your interactions and reflections over time. So you really need to be able to soundboard, speak it out loud, and then go and reflect on it and think about it, and then speak it out loud again with safe people you can trust who can be neutral about it. Because your mind is constantly going, so you need to be able to get it out of here, okay? So you can think about it, hear it, see what it sounds like, feels like, and reflect on it. What's really helpful, like I said, is a sounding board, but also having someone to really hear what's going on for you. All of your consistent and reliable energy happens above the throat. Okay, so you probably have definition in your throat or your head and ajna. Okay, so all of your consistent and reliable energy is happening above the throat. So you really need to learn how to get into your body and really feel into how people and places make you feel, because you're all undefined there. Okay, you're taking in, amplifying, and reflecting back everybody else's energy down there. That's not like officially your authority, but it does have a really significant role to play, because there's so much feedback going on in your body that speaking it out and having a really powerful sounding board to hear the nuances is going to help you go in the direction that is true and correct for you, and make the decisions that are true and correct for you and not be influenced by other things. So your superpower is really feeling into the energy around you. Now, our last authority, which is our lunar authority. So reflectors, your strategy and authority are pretty much the same thing, okay? You're following the moon. That's your authority in decision making, following the moon. It's completely unique to reflectors. Big decisions should be aligned with the lunar cycle. Okay, so if you don't know the lunar cycle, how it works, what the different phases are, what the energy of the different phases of the lunar cycle are, you need to go and learn about them. I have this incredible planner that I just bought, the Magic of I, and it has all of that information in it, and it's across all the days and what planets are influencing the moon, and like it's amazing. So if you're a reflector, I would highly recommend that planner. I'll put a link to it in the show notes, because it has all of that in it. It's designed for people who want to learn how to how to plan and grow and evolve with astrology and the lunar cycles and all of that stuff. Okay, and align your life to that. So, over the course of the 28 days, you're going to take your time to reflect on your choices and let the phases of the moon help you gain clarity. There is no rush. Your wisdom lies in waiting. You have the ability to have such an incredible connection to the subtle energy around you, to who's doing what, what's going on, what the environment around you feels like, what do the people feel like, and what do the people feel like? And this all plays into your authority, because your authority is always going to be in your body in some way, okay? Whether you're speaking it out, or you're feeling it in your consistent energy, or you're feeling the energy that's moving through you, that you're amplifying and reflecting back, there is so much wisdom in that. So wait for the 28 days, because the consistency can be created through the moon as it moves through your chart. Okay, it moves through your chart every 1 to 2 days. It activates the different gates in your different centers as it moves through. So your definition changes as the month goes through, as the moon moves through, as the energy moves through your chart. Okay, so your definition does change. And that's what creates your consistency. So, like I said previously, on day 3, you might be a generator. On day 10, you might be a manifestor. So it's giving you reference points of where you can land on those days, and you can know that you can make a decision. For example, with your sacral, if well, on day 3, I'm defining this. On day 3, my sacral is defined, so I can make decisions based on my sacral response, okay? So what you really need to do is learn to trust the way people and places make you feel, and you need to slow down. Once you slow down and learn to trust your reading of the energy and how you feel around certain people and places, and you raise your frequency, you can tune into how to decide what is true and correct for you or not. Okay. So how do we start? How do we start trusting our internal guidance system? Okay. If you have an emotional authority, the next time you need to make a decision, don't rush. Give yourself at least 24 hours to sit with your feelings, notice how your emotions shift over time, and only decide when you feel calm and clear and neutral. Sacral authority. Practice tuning into your gut by asking yourself those yes or no questions. Do I feel like eating this? Should I go to this event? Notice your immediate response. It's usually a sound, feeling, or pull in your body. And like from a parenting perspective, understanding this is really important as well. Isla is a generator, Evie is a manifestor. Isla needs yes or no questions. If I just say, what do you want? Her ability to make a decision is really hard. Or if I'm like, do you want this or this or this or this? But if I say, do you want cheese? Right? If I say, do you want cheese, or do you want a banana, or do you want a sandwich, do you want blah, blah, blah? No. Okay, she can't tune into her sacral response. But if I say, do you want cheese? Right? And she can give me a sacral response, right? So it's about knowing how these things work for you, and really helpful for you as a parent as well. But I don't need to do that with Evie, because she's a manifestor, and she's here to inform, right? So she can tell me. I have to help her build the ability to tell me, to inform me. All right. If you have this splenic authority, pay attention to your first instinct in small decisions. Okay, your first instinct. Go with that. This is usually one where you're like, oh, my gut told me this, but I didn't trust it. I didn't trust my heart. I trusted my head, right? It's that sort of thing. Trust that subtle, fleeting voice or feeling, and take action immediately, even if it doesn't seem logical. Okay. Ego authority. How do you start if you have an ego authority? When you're making a decision, ask yourself, do I truly want this? Say it out loud. Journal your thoughts, read those journals out loud, prioritize what feels aligned with your desires, because it's heart center, willpower, desire, and let go of obligations that don't serve your heart. You are a heart-centered being. Follow your heart. That's your motto. Follow your heart. True to your heart. true to your heart. Yeah, you know that song? Anyway, moving on. Number 5. So if you have a self-projected authority, you're following your voice. Okay, ego authority, follow your heart. Self-projected authority, follow your voice. So find a trusted friend or mentor and talk through your decisions. Pay attention to what you say and how it feels when you speak. All of these authorities are in the body. Okay, you might be speaking it out loud, but it's how is it feeling in the body. Your truth will often emerge when you hear your own voice. If you have the mental authority, you have to find the right space. So when you're making decisions, spend time in spaces where you feel calm and supported. Surround yourself with people who help you feel safe to talk things through. So, you know, if you have this authority and you don't have a coach you feel safe to talk things through, right? Okay, that's some feedback for you. So it's really the spaces you're in, the people you're around to help you make your decisions is really, really important. So, like I said, surround yourself with people who you feel safe to talk things through. Clarity will come naturally in the right environment. And for our lunar authority, you're following the moon. So for big decisions, mark a 28-day period on your calendar and commit to waiting it out. Journal your feelings and reflections throughout the lunar cycle. Notice how your perspective shifts before making a final decision. Now, overall, for everybody, what we want to get to is a point where we are following our strategy and authority no matter what. If your strategy and authority is telling you to take the action, take the action. Okay, that's it. Take the action. Even if it doesn't really make sense. And I cannot tell you how much in the last sort of 3 months this has been the case for Brent and I, where our strategy and authority has been like, you need to do this. And our logical mind's like, what the hell? What? No, we can't do that because we're supposed to be doing this. We've been working on doing this for the last 2 years, and now we're just going to do this instead. And we're trusting that. We are trusting our strategy and authority, and things have been happening magically for us. Okay, it's like things are amplifying and speeding up and coming to fruition faster than they have been for the last 2 years because we're not fighting it anymore. Okay, so your ego, your unresourceful ego, for my people with an ego authority, not your resourceful ego, your unresourceful ego doesn't get to override your strategy and authority, ever. The voice in your head that starts to criticize and what if and nope, doesn't get a say. Go and experiment. Give your brain evidence every day of what happens when you do listen to your strategy and authority and what happens when you don't. And this is going to strengthen your trust and belief muscle the more that you do this. So start by practicing with small decisions. It's all about getting out of the head and into the body. What is the body telling you? What information are you receiving? And starting to trust those more subtle energies. The body and the subtle energies and the energies you're receiving through your authority are much softer than the mind and the unresourceful ego. The unresourceful ego, the mind is going to be a lot louder. So you really have to build the trust in the subtle energies and train the brain. Okay, it's again when we come back to talking about belief reprogramming and saturating our subconscious mind and self-concept and all of these other tools that we talk about, because we have to train the brain to believe that it is safe to trust our strategy and authority, and we only do that by giving it evidence. Okay, that is authority. Woo! Big. I hope you enjoyed that episode. I'd love to know what was your takeaway, what were your aha moments. Come over on Instagram or FaceB and let me know, or send me an email. How to connect with me is in the show notes, and if you want to dive deeper into human design, all the ways I can help you do that are also down in the show notes. But until next time, big love, everybody. Go out there and be amazing. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I really hope you received exactly what you needed from it. I absolutely loved sharing it with you. I'd also love to know what you thought. So please leave a comment or a review for me to respond to, or just come over and say hi on my socials. If you'd love to be a guest on the show, or maybe you have a question or a topic that you'd like me to talk about, then please send me a message. I absolutely love to connect. And really, this podcast is all about you. And your success. So tell me what you need to hear more of. If you really enjoyed this episode, please give it a like, or even better, send it to someone you know to spread the love. Let's get this authentic success movement happening. Okay, that's it from me. Big love. Now go out there and be amazing.